Welcome to the first hangout where I had the chance to talk to very talented NFT creators and founders. We talked about their current take on the market. Then we went over to the approach of what to do during bear markets and how to handle excessive amounts of FUD. Then we shared some fun and very sad stories in the end. Have fun watching it. So cool you're with us. I mean, 4:30 is a statement, I guess, bold statement.
It's not, to be honest, it's like I'll usually get up at like 5:30 anyway, so it's not like super different from the time I'm usually waking up anyway, so
that's good.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie, my partner's a fitness instructor and she usually like starts a blender at like 4:30 in the morning making a smoothie anyway, so
it's terrible.
Yeah, in Australia, when I was there, people get up super early. I mean, the sun is rising early as well, so they go to the beach and do some workouts and stuff, or to a CrossFit box, I guess. It's wild.
Oh, cafes open at like 5 a.m. here, so
yeah, it's crazy.
And I was like, when I was in LA, I was confused that they didn't open until 10 o'clock.
7, yeah, I'm right.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you think like in a very capitalist-focused society that people would be really into waking up at 5 and working until they sleep.
Yeah, I was
like a very capitalist.
It was the same it was the same when I went to Japan as well. It was like stuff didn't open till like 10 or 11 o'clock, and I was like, what? But then it's open very late, whereas like we shut everything like real early, so it's kind of like it's a bit different. So like sometimes the like on a Saturday or a Sunday, like grocery stores here are shut by 5 p.m. So
life.
I love the businesses that find a way to close on as many days as possible. They'll be like close Saturdays because some of our employees are Jewish, close Sunday because Lord's Day, and then we'll close Mondays because everyone's closed Mondays. And we're also closed Tuesdays because some shops close on Tuesdays as well because others are closed on Mondays. So yeah, we're basically only opening on Friday. It's like, is that only my experience in life, or
nah? There was a restaurant we wanted to
I don't
go,
know if that
and we
I
were
don't know
like,
if that business model works out too well.
Yeah,
they do it.
Yeah, there was like there was a couple of them like that as well. Like we went to go, there was like a vegan sushi chain restaurant over there, and we went to go there. There was like they had 2 sites, and then both days that we went to go, like that specific one was shut. One was a Sunday and one was a Friday. We were like, what the fuck? So made no sense to me, yeah.
Open a bar, have it closed on Fridays and Saturdays. That's a good business. Only open from brunch. You're good, dude.
Yeah. I mean, they should try to get into the NFT business. It's 24/7, right?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh, look how many different time zones we've got here. We've got 9 p.m., 12 p.m., like 4:30 a.m.
3 p.m.
So
for
3
who is
PM,
it?
yeah.
12 p.m. Yeah, 12 p.m. Yeah, midday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, PDT or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote Jeremy from Lucky Ducky, but he seems to be away. I don't know. Basically, we can start. I mean, I thought it's gonna be like a just a round table, not discussion, but like hangout. Let's say I prepared like 2 or 3 questions, and other than that, we're just gonna go with the flow, I guess. Yeah, what's your current take on the market, guys? What do you think? How do you feel about the bear market or the current market we are in? It's.
Oh, you mean the okay bear market?
Yeah, the okay bear market.
Dude, I actually want to talk about that.
or the other one.
I want to talk about that because I have seen so much about it, and then I saw the thing that was like not okay bear.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about the entire thing, so if you guys know, I need to hear what it is. But I heard they're doing good.
There's also a third one, I guess, right? Or Don, you go ahead.
I know the not okay bears got taken down off open.
Delisted, yeah. I believe they decided to put royalties on their collection as well. But then they were delisted from OpenSea, and now they're listed on, I think they're listed on Looks and next UI too. For me, I think it's not healthy for for the Ethereum ecosystem to have go full circle, and then because if you remember, like it used to be derivatives of Ethereum projects on Solana, and now it's derivatives of Solana projects on Ethereum. What I think is not healthy for the space is you got to remember that that's still market capital getting shuffled around from good potential projects like that could be going into like a Sprite Club, or it could be going into like a Long Lost, or people that are actually like building within the space. That's money that could have not been like funneled out from the royalties for like what's going to be known as like a rug project. It's already like people were just doing full degenning and like pumping it into. Yeah, well, like they did it on all of them. Like there was the copycat art from. There wasn't only just Not Okay Bears. There was like Not Okay Bears, and there was like D-Gods. There was the Renegade Reptilians as well, and all those main Soul projects just recently popped up as Ethereum derivatives. But what people got to remember is, at the end of the day, that's going to be somebody's exit liquidity, and people are going to get stuck in that space. And that's going to continue to be money that gets stuck within that collection. I don't think it's healthy because we're not getting many new people coming into the space. So the fact that market capital is just getting recycled and shuffled around and then just chucked into like these kind of projects, if you think a few weeks back, we just had $200 million burned on gas fees from other side. It's not a healthy thing. I don't know if anybody else's opinion on the matter.
If you're
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, like the long story short, like if you're buying anything right now, then you need to be committed to holding it for a year or so. And if you think you're going to flip it, I wish you the best of luck. But if you're holding a bag, don't come complaining to me or Shaka or anyone else.
Yeah, it definitely feels like I guess in the past we've had like these sort of like mini meme periods where just like silly meme projects or silly meme derivative projects just take off for a little bit because people are trying to ride that meme until the top of the price. But the meme is only funny for so long, and people got to cash out at some point.
My Kevins aren't appreciating in value. Almost like that joke was only funny for a week.
What happened to them? The Kevins?
Yeah, I was wondering when I was saying that. What happened to Kevin?
That's over. I will say, like I personally in my community, I stopped getting the like when FUD stuff. And obviously because everything is like this, that most people are understanding they're probably going to have to hold. But I'm not really getting that. I mean, I see people that own like multiple hoppers. You could see them minting and trying to sell them out. But a lot of people are holding. So I don't know. It's not looking great. I mean, I just had a conversation with someone this morning. They did so much promo work and they did such a good job, but like the turnout was like not great. It was like not such a good, it wasn't such a positive conversation to have, I mean, everything that we talked about was like, it's pretty much across the board. I don't know. I think I miss the Tezos days and like the fun days, and that hasn't really been around for like months.
Tezos was really fun, dude.
It was just so much, dude. Like,
but I think here's my argument. Here's like my twist, Shaka, silver lining, is like I think in the bear market we can get that back. Those days, because nobody gives a shit anymore. At least it feels like people give. I mean, I think we need to just give less shits in the bear market. and mint some cool stuff and really have fun and try to get back to those old days. The bull markets are for getting new people and everybody's degenning and people are going crazy and they're on a big high. But in the bear market, I think we can actually get that vibe back, Shaka, because back in the day when Shaka and I were making one-ones, we were having a great time. We were minting on Tezos. We didn't care. We were just making cool art and people were buying it. And that was that. We weren't making a big kit and caboodle on Tezos, but it was fun.
It's definitely at least for me, dude, it's like a learned thing. Like my mindset now, I have to force my mind out of what I'm in now and revert back to that. Because I feel like my personality and how I am now with the NFT community and the scene is like very much like a grind mentality. But even during the bear market where you don't really have to do that as much, it's kind of hard to get out of that mold. I also noticed like a lot of like actionable item things take much longer to execute. Like there's a lot of things that I'm working with other people and stuff like that. And a lot of these things now are taking so long to get done because I think everybody is just like taking a step back from the space. I've noticed that. Like even I'm starting to get like people not responding to my messages anymore and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know.
People are kind of, I think many people lost a lot of money and they're kind of, they need a break or like, I don't know, some mental pause and stuff. So, and many people also left or capitulated. They're just holding bags and hope to get, I guess, the money back. I don't know. But I think it's going to take long. And
you have to love it. You just have to love the space. You have to love the energy. And there's a lot of good and bad.
Yeah.
I hesitate whether or not I should say this but at the end of the day, like I'm an artist and I'm an entrepreneur as well. I'm a founder and I always learn from my mistakes and I always come back punching way harder than people expect. But basically I am about to go fully underwater on my assets because I was just an artist when I created Generation Habibi. And I didn't know that I need to sell because I'm pretty new to the Ethereum and Bitcoin markets. I didn't know that. I didn't look at the charts. I was just like, whatever, look, I don't know. And I didn't know that this crash was a possibility. So all the money that I made on Generation Habibi and on my 1-1 adventures, now I now owe more money to I'm just about to owe more money to the U.S. government than I have. You know what I mean? So if anybody ever said, oh, well, it's easy for you to say that, Mark, you're freaking rich. The answer is no. I might be more poor than you depending on how this next thing goes. But
look, I'm not going to lie. I'm probably delaying my taxes, dude. So
yeah, I'm not going to lie, but I just wanted to just say I have almost no, I'm not in the green or I'm not in the black right now, but I'm sticking around because I actually genuinely love the space. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. I will also stand behind that. I'm in a little different position, but my funds that I put aside had not grown. It's we're not going to pretend like I'm still executing and doing shit as if I had a freaking 20 floor ETH project, but I don't at the moment. I'm still fucking making the art and still here all the time. But yeah, like my funds also, especially now, like I had a portion put aside for funding the future, and then this happened where I just lost pretty much 60%. 50%.
Was your portion in crypto or was it in stable?
It was in crypto. It was in crypto.
See, let's Shaka. That's our lesson for this from this season is if you're gonna put money aside for the future, it needs to be in a stable coin.
I will say though, I did pull out. There's a lot of things, precautionary things I've done, but like, yeah.
Which stable coin? The Terra one or?
Definitely not that.
You put it on USD.
Luna?
What can you do?
Luna, yeah.
Put on
What's
the wrong
the point
USD
in-
tether.
Who
But
was
here's a positive thing, right? Here's a positive thing, right? Like you said, Mark, still doing this before I even dropped shit on Tezos. Still gonna do it after. We're not leaving. We're not starting new projects. something's going to happen. Whether or not we're stuck at 2000 for Ethereum. I mean, I was talking to my brother about this. He was like, you don't know pain until it hits $300. But like,
Shit.
you know, I guess it can all be relative, right? Remember when 4,000 was like the norm? It dropped again. I mean, you never know. Maybe things will. I just think we've been burned so much in the past couple months with numerous things that have happened. The Pixelmon stuff, the Yuga Labs burning of all that money. Like there have been a lot of bad things that easily overshadow any of the positive things that have happened in the space. Especially for smaller projects or projects that aren't that top freaking 1%. I think the gap between people making money and people not making money is so big now. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't think there's like a middle class anymore when it comes to NFTs. That's what I'm trying to say. I think it's pretty.
I would agree with you as well.
Red thin
I
now.
think it was like, I think it's, if you have a look at the top projects as well, between, I guess, like your Yuga Labs, your Azukis, your Moonbirds as well, that's where all the liquidity is. You would see on like the really large days where we were having upticks within volume within the space. I think the other side, there was like, I think the first day of trading, there was $476 million of capital being traded on that day. I think Moonbirds was like close to roughly like another
so much
200 million. Like in terms of like the other, like the Moonbirds like mint, I'm pretty sure it was close to 74 million for the mint. Then like between their fees and OpenSea, like it roughly added up to like 130 million or something of liquidity that's like just pulled out of the space before you take into consideration the actual floor price, like the average kind of floor price that's stuck in the collection. I think it bumped it up closer to like 800 million or something.
Wow.
It's a huge amount of liquidity for like the little guys to kind of like get sucked out of. So, you know, like that liquidity from those small projects was in those projects. I think even if I look at like Quirkies most recently, their largest holder, which was Ryan Sterling, he had a bag of 200 Quirkies. He's got a bag of 45 Quirkies now. You know, like there was and they were at like, I think they peaked at like a 3.9 floor price, and then dipped all the way back down to like 1.7, I think. So yeah, you gotta remember that like that liquidity goes somewhere. So
right.
So, yeah,
I see weird things happening from some big wallets that make me really confused.
What's happening?
Kind of like what you're
Yeah.
saying.
What examples?
I don't mind being really. I'm not.
Who was that?
Like 88,
Name the person.
like 888. If you're listening, like you're the best, man. You're the greatest. But 888 sold like a Generation Habibi. I'm like, hey man, do you need like money? Are you like, I'll lend you money, man, if you need it. Like if you're broke, like I can help. You know what I mean? I'm like, why is 888 selling Generation Habibi?
Doesn't look good.
Like he sold one for 0.4. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? Did you run out of money? I thought you had like millions of Ethereum. I think it speaks to like this market, and people are just like people acting irrational. The market's, this is already an irrational market, and when the bear cycle hits, it makes people act like they go from irrational to I don't know, we'll call it funny.
Yeah, I feel people still people are still living off the high of like making big wins in like, you know, the good times of the market. And people are desperate for that sort of thing at the moment. So they go chasing waterfalls, you know, like selling the stuff that they do have to be able to potentially catch the wave on this thing that's up and coming, but will only be for up and coming for 2 more hours, and it's all going to crash. It's a dangerous like cycle to be in.
I feel like something you brought up that I think might be cool to talk about is like, you're talking about people are still chasing a high. I mean, something that I've wanted to talk about in a group of people before is talking about gambling and how it relates to our space, like legitimate gambling and also gambling addiction, which might be like a spicy take, and it's a bit of a negative take, But I think there's a lot of people with actual gambling addiction that are in our space, and they probably should seek treatment.
Here. No, I really agree. And I also think so because it's not actual money you hold in your hand. It's something, it's like cute pictures and clicking around in your browser and stuff. It's sometimes hard to see reality because it's not like in your actual bank account, and you lose sometimes the feel to it. I don't know how to describe, but
Let me give a perfect example, right?
hello, Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy.
Oh yeah, it's
Well,
funny.
well.
You said cutesy pictures, and I look down and I see a cute duck.
Yeah, sorry.
True.
Just on that topic, I went and bought NFT NYC tickets, even though everyone said don't buy the actual event. I was like, I'll just buy it. I saw the option for USD or Ethereum Bitcoin. I went immediately to the Bitcoin Ethereum. I was like, I'm gonna feel so much better seeing this money being spent if it's just an Ethereum number for my. That's the same thing with, and it's probably not great me saying this but like, I've had people messaging me and be like, hey, I'll have, especially now, like Ethereum is so low. I think buying a hopper was like $100, maybe less $100. That's a lot of money for some people. And I don't know who it was, but they're like, if by the end of the month I can afford this. I'm like, I hope you're not scrapping your real life well-being to come purchase hopper. Of course, I love people buying hoppers and stuff like that. But I mean, if it comes to a point where your real life is being damaged because you want to buy a JPEG, I would not advise you to do that. Yeah, I feel like that's a big problem.
Yeah, we have a trade chat in Habibis, and it's like in the Habibi Discord, and we have, every once in a while, it's rare, but every once in a while someone say, hey guys, I can't afford rent this month. So I'm selling my Habibis, and I'm like, why are you buying Habibis if you barely have enough money for rent?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Yes.
Are you
It's
spending your rent money on Habibis? Don't do that.
That's
You're
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man, sorry to be jumping in late, but
No worries.
that literally happened to me with someone in our Discord. Like, and you never know exactly like what's true, what's not in this space either. Like, there could be like scammers and whatever too. But someone was literally posting himself in like a hospital bed, being like, "Thumbs up, like I survived." Like, and then he posted car crash photos, saying that like, "I survived the car crash. I'm still here." But now I have all this medical debt and I need to sell my Lucky Duckies. And I was just like, dude, if you were like on the brink of like, losing everything before the car crash, and like, I'm sorry to hear that Lucky Ducky is a thing that like is on the table, but like, I can't do anything about that. Like, you're on your own with buying these investments. It's not like, I'm not going to just like, pay for your medical bills because you said you bought Lucky Duckies right before this car crash, or if it even happened. It's like really weird that like people like putting like their like investment opportunities ahead of their own health and well-being. It's like, it's a really weird space to have to like deal with that on the regular. Like, I don't have any like responsibility to you, putting your rent money on the line for it. But people will do that on the daily. They'll like say like, well, you gotta make, $100 tonight, or else, we're not gonna have baby formula tomorrow. Like thankfully that wasn't a Lucky Ducky situation, but I've seen like other stuff happen like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what can you even do in this space when like it's gambling? It's just like straight up gambling when they're doing those sort of moves. And we should have like signs places everywhere that say like, if you have a gambling addiction, call this hotline. Like, that's maybe that like
Every
take a lesson
website
from...
where it says call to action and go to OpenCDC collection, under it should be call to action, call gambling 101.
You know
Yeah,
what's the
yeah.
scary thing about gambling is I was listening to a podcast, and they were saying for people that have a gambling addiction, when they looked at our brains, they did scans of people's brains when they were gambling. And for somebody that maybe does not suffer from a gambling addiction, when they have like a near miss situation, for example, let's say you almost minted a gold, diamond, whatever thingamajigger, and instead you got a standard. Most people register that as bad. That's bad. I missed out. I got burned, and this is bad. But people with gambling addiction, when they have a near miss situation, the receptors fire off in their brain as if they had won. they perceive a near miss or a miss as a victory because they can see how they would have won, and their brain has a disconnect and it perceives that as good. And so that's kind of one of the big issues with people with gambling addiction.
I was in this other chat before, Lucky Ducky, that was like all about like artists in this space, and one of the guys was having issues with OpenSea with his collection, and he like screenshotted for some reason his email, and right next to the OpenSea email he got was if you're part of this, if you're having gambling problems, like type of support group type of email that he's part of. And I was like, oh, now it makes sense why he was like hitting me up after he had a big win, like what to like jump into. Like he's just like needed that high again. Like after he like, he made like something like 20 grand, and immediately it was like reaching out to me afterwards, just like, what should I jump into next? What's the next thing? Is like, dude, you just made 20 grand. Like sit with it for a second. But he had to constantly like be finding that next high, and clearly like the gambling addiction was a thing that like he didn't have to say out loud, but like I saw firsthand so many ways. It's just like it's part of his MO. Yeah, it's a really big part of the thing that I don't think we really talk about too much on the top of it.
Yeah.
In terms of the space as well, probably that, like, in terms of investment advice, and I was going to say Don would know this for sure, like definitely from DeFi. When it comes to trading, the worst thing you can do with trading is emotional trading. Anytime that emotions come into play, like I've made all of my worst decisions when it comes to emotions, when it comes to trading. Like I remember delisting my alien friend at like 12 ETH or something, and like I had an offer for like 8.5 or something, and I was just like, no, it's still going up, still going up. And then just like, because you're on that euphoria high, you don't think the market's going to turn. And like, I think people have got to remember that if you're making plays in a bear market, they've got to be strong conviction plays. If you're just like taking a punt and you're just like throwing your money into like whatever project just because you think it's going to be the next the next big thing, you got to remember that a lot of these projects now, even with like great social following prior to the mint, are actually struggling to mint out when they've got like clear roadmaps. They've got everything that a lot of these projects had like a few months ago. They would have minted out and ran like a 10x, and people would have made their money. And some of these projects now are like struggling to see like a 20% of their total mint,
I couldn't agree more. My girlfriend always gets mad. She's like, "Don't ever throw projects under the bus." So I'm not even mention any projects, but like the huge social media following count is the biggest red flag now. It's crazy I'm even shocked when people come in, they don't see that. Sometimes I see those crazy paid advertised promos for these projects that, whatever. I don't know anyone in my field or area that would ever buy them. They have like 9 million views. You're like, huge red flag. Probably is not going to mint out, right? Especially now. Like I'm still shocked when people haven't learned or have the experience to realize that that's not the right way to go. I mean, like it's been like this since February, in my opinion, but it still happens. People are still, putting up projects, but their friends list is like 100K on Twitter. And you're like, how, right? But those projects never mint out. I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of like botted projects in the space. I think when it comes to like if you're assessing something for a mint and you want to know and you want to figure out how popular it actually is, usually I'll check the followers, and like if it's something like that where it's a huge amount of followers, obviously you go and check the engagement, not just the first pin post because they usually just bot that as well, but you just go through and just check. And then you'll see like, oh, these guys have like 25K followers. Oh, cool. They got 16 likes on this post on like, like like an engagement farming post.
Yeah.
I already know that was spotted. But then sometimes you get that and they'll just have like, say like 1,000 on every one of their posts and it looks quite organic. And then what I find is a good metric as well. If a lot of people on Twitter have built like a pretty decent following in the space of like quite a few other people that they'll follow. And then if you check mutuals, if they had like one or two followers, like mutual followers, you know it's a good chance it's a botted account. It's the same thing with like a lot of those like influencers. You know, like obviously like we get them like hit us up as well. But if you were to look at one of their accounts, you can see they'll have like one or two mutual followers. But then if somebody has like 100K people and then, you know, they've got like 1,000 mutual followers, oh, yeah, good chance that that's probably like a legitimate project or, you know, like it's like, you know, I've actually got like 1,000 people that have actually shown interest on this. You know, it's a good gauge to like people that are actually doing it, I guess, organically or, you know, it's like kind of like a real project as well.
So what do you think are the best ways to grow organically and not, you know, fake?
That's a good question.
Well, for us, we did like a
Valid
lot of like
question.
community engagement. Yeah, I think.
What does that mean, community engagement?
So for us, we did a lot of like, I guess, we had our community name what they wanted to call themselves. We kind of did like, like a fair bit of like large posts and stuff through. Because if you have a look now, like if you're a new community, a lot of those like, comment, tag 3 people kind of posts, they don't really work anywhere near as much as they did back in like December or back in like, you know, back in the bull run. A lot of that, like a lot of people have become tired of that. So, to be honest, like I'm not in a position where I'm trying to grow organically in a bear market.
Sustain, right? Just preserve is the goal, right?
Yeah. Like a lot of the stuff that like that we did, you know, like, you know, the kind of like allowing other community, like, because we gave whitelist spots away to other well-known communities, like, and we kind of
Collabs, right?
Sorry.
Yeah, like collaborations.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
call outs, yeah,
Collabs,
shout outs, shout outs and collaborations, and getting like other communities involved in our project was like a great organic following, where we gave like X whitelists away to communities. But even now, I think a lot of people see that as devalued as well. So it's like I believe like Twitter Spaces is a big one, just having a lot of constant engagement on there. But to be honest, like for me, I'm not in the same position that I was like, you know, a few months ago where it was like a bear market. So like when it was a bull month, like run, and we were building our project then. A lot of sentiments like definitely changed.
Yeah,
But
Habibis are struggling a bit too, but I think the smallness of our community has also been like it limits our growth during bull markets, and it also acts as like self-preservation during a bear market, because people in the Habibi community aren't really like expecting big returns. And so as we go up or down, nobody really cares. It's really just like the best. It's like a best friends club. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the thing that like you would have found as well, like directly after your project mints, sentiment was FUD in the Discord, why my bag's going down and, you know, this and that. But you look now, like everybody knows everything's down. And I think everybody's like, if you've got a strong community, they're supporting each other in the Discords. And I think our sentiment's definitely changed within like those kind of like areas where everybody's just there like chilling, having a good time. And nobody's worried because their conviction is on the long term. You'll find like, like the definite like the long-term sentiment, and you can see which holders and stuff are like here for like, they're going to be here probably like 6 to 12 months time. They're not here they're not dolphins here to flip. So
I don't know if Chris wanted me to share this, but he shared with me this cool little calculator that he's building that you can go on a website. Soon you'll be able to like plug in your wallet and it'll look at all your Witties and it'll assign you like a rank. And that rank will then translate over to Discord based on how well you've hodled, how many Witties you have and how well you've hodled them. And it has the scaling is like exponential for your hodl value compared to how many woodies you have. Like if you have a few woodies, great. If you have not that many, still fine. But it's what you've done with your woodies, and then you get a rank for the Discord, and that's going to have future implications, which I think is actually kind of awesome.
Interesting. And
Oh, that's sweet.
what about the general approach during bear markets or downtrends for the others and their NFT projects? What are you guys up to? And are you building, or are you more like a little bit more quiet, or still trying to engage with the community? I know it's difficult, but what's kind of your approach?
Number one, I would just check on other projects because everyone is worrying about their project now. You're not really paying attention to everybody else. And then when you go look at how everyone else is doing, everyone's building but struggling compared to what it was a couple months ago. It's not the same. You need some good perspective. I was like so hard on myself, like, I mean, I still am all the time. I'm sure everybody is, but like a month ago, I was like freaking out about whatever, floor and stuff like that. And then everyone was like, have you gone to anyone else's Discord or gone to anybody else's OpenSea? Have you looked at their floor? There's a couple projects I go to check successful ones. Then there's art focused ones that are more like my project. I check all of these. And if everybody in a way is down, you need to kind of check yourself, be like, all right, let's not mentally focus on all that shit that's happening. Let's just focus on building whatever you're doing. But yeah, that's been like the biggest help in this.
I think if you're feeling down, that's great advice, Shaka. If you're feeling down about your project, I mean, just start telling everybody in your community, listen, Habibis, Hoppers, whatever has been objectively a way better investment than Luna. Like we're ahead of Luna right now, y'all. So like that's a win. I'm ahead of Luna. I'm ahead of UST. If you bought Luna, you losing compared to Habibis, compared to Hoppers. So that's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think context.
I'm joking, by the way, for anyone that's like, but also kind of not. Anyways,
I think context is everything, and that's, as a founder, it's something that you struggle to come to grips with because you have such tunnel vision on what you're working on. Like you guys have been saying, you just like head down trying to offer as much to your community, as much to your project that you feel like you're able to do. And you do kind of get in that headspace where you like sort of worry a little bit, but when you step back, and this is like my advice to the whole NFT community as well, because you get community members coming in and saying, you know, all this nasty shit about floor price and insulting the team and stuff like that. But they're also the ones that need to also take a step back and realize the wider situation of the market and understand that, you know, we're all in the same boat together, basically.
Yeah, I think it helps to talk to people, right? And
Yes.
engage and have this kind of conversations. Since we're in this together, and we are not alone.
Yeah, it was weird when we minted out like right at the end of March, like beginning of April, and just like a real start to the whole like bear thing. I mean, it was kind of already happened, but like the real start to the hard edge of the bear market, and we just like less than 24 hours after we minted, it was just immediately like the price dropped. Like we didn't have a chance to like even celebrate as a team before like the Discord was just like getting upset with us, and the tune just changed like overnight. From the community being like, oh yeah, we're so excited, and then it's like they're like, what have you done? Like, and then we're like, we didn't, and then they're like asking for all these things that like weren't even part of the conversation 24 hours beforehand. With like roadmaps and utilities and things that we like told people like don't expect this right away. It's going to take time, especially with claymation. This stuff takes a lot of time and effort. But like, just I think like people got out of it, when they started to realize that like this is not for them, like this project's not for them, and they just moved on and dumped whatever and just like moved on to a quicker flip or something. But the people that are sticking around are starting to see like the potential and trying to just like relay that, like the term building is always like thrown around too much, but like just like showing the actionable things that we can present week to week and month to month. That's like not to keep people waiting for 6 months on a thing, but like bringing on people and hiring on and doing all this stuff. It's like not the fun part of just like partnerships and whatever and collabs, but like the actual like work of forming a business. And people that kind of get what we're doing will stick around and hopefully see it. So
the like this is the how am I gonna say this? The problem is that like you're supposed to prepare all this stuff before you drop a collection, right? Or drop a project. But when I dropped this in January, my mindset or roadmap or the things I thought that were valuable, or no one really cares about anymore. Especially if we look at right now, no one's going to care about an airdrop. No one's going to care about, and even like I was so pumped for metaverse stuff, but now that's become so competitive that the money you'd spend in making a metaverse and the whole experience, you may not really get any kind of returns on that. So then that changed. And then someone made a Twitter post about this, but they were like, it's just a moving goalpost. As a founder, unless you have like 15 people on your team, which you probably can't do unless you have the funds that build to hire a bunch of people, you're just going to keep trying to catch up to something that's just a couple steps ahead of you every single time. And it's a moving goalpost and you're just trying to, it's like even now my hardest thing is like, I'm going to keep doing this. Next week, if something else is big, I'm going to go after that. Like the building thing is kind of, but like, oh my God, I'm trying to say this better. The hardest part I notice now is like right now we're doing all this website background stuff that people can't see. But it's like I spend hours on my computer doing things that when I get off my computer, there's nothing that was done. If that makes sense. I feel like there is just so much time being like taken away from me trying to catch up with this moving goalpost that every single day I wake up, there's something new. I don't know. That's definitely something I've been struggling with a lot lately.
I think as well, if you like as founders as well, I'm pretty sure you guys would have noticed this. When their bags are moving up, the same utility, it's amazing. It's the best thing. And then as the price moves down, that like if you were to mention the same thing, it's like that's not going to change it. Blah blah. Like, it's like that's the thing. Like that's why the price is going down. It's like their opinions on the same things that they want will depend on the price action. And you could like it could be the exact same relevant thing in one project as to what you're doing. But because they're going up and you're going down, or, like they're like, obviously their sentiment's different because everybody's happy when they're making money. But when people were in, like when they're trying to protect themselves, like they're going to lash out and they're going to like, they're going to be super defensive as to why, like, their opinions of why you're, I guess, like moving down, and they're trying to, I guess, they're trying to just like defend their plays and stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure if you guys would have noticed as well, but like they'll be like, oh well, you should have done this because like this community's got like this, and then you'll be like, oh well, we also have this. They're like, oh well, do better. And like it's like. Yeah, I think sentiment definitely changes based on like price movement, but that's when I think the NFT space is extremely different to say like DeFi or traditional markets, because it goes back to that that emotional high of I guess like gambling as well, whereas emotional trading is not what you want to do. I think I said that earlier, where it's like all of my worst investments were based on, like calls that I got from friends out of like being hyped up and gassed up to jump into. And then turns out I didn't think through the decision as to why it was a good play. But I think if people like actually like research into what they're actually buying into and what's coming from the team, instead of just like looking to make a quick flip, and like building for the long term is is where where they should actually spend more time. I'm not sure if you guys have opinions on that as well.
I do. I love sharing my opinion on that. I think it's important for people to identify. I think it's okay for people to make emotional buys in NFTs, but you need to identify which of your buys are emotional buys. And you need to be okay with those being risky assets. But I would say probably 90 to 95% of my NFTs that I buy are emotional. I typically only mint or buy NFTs to support my friends or to support artists that I really like. The ironic part is while I think probably 75% of those have not made money, the 25% that have risen in value have put up, if you were to make a portfolio of all the NFTs that I have, it's probably like plus a lot of percent, maybe 1,000. You know what I mean? And a lot of them I don't sell. Like Deadfellas went to 5 ETH and I was like, I don't care. I mean, because I like my Deadfellas. I have 9 now, and I know that those are emotional buys. If they go to 5, if they go to 10, I might let one go just to pay rent for a few months. But the joy that I have from being a part of that community and from holding those Deadfellas, like it's an emotional joy, and I pay for it. Just quite literally. But when you buy an NFT that is not emotional investment, that's where things get really tricky, and you have to get really serious, and you have to come up with your in and out points. And if you don't have an in and out point for an investment that you buy as an NFT, then you're completely setting yourself up for failure, and you will likely fail.
Yeah, that's a very valid point as well. I'm in the same boat as well with your Deadfellas with my alien friend. Like I bought that really early when the floor price was, I think, 0.1, and then held it all the way up until it was like, I think the floor price hit just shy of like 5 ETH.
Yeah.
It went 4.9 or 4.99, and then, I think the other day I saw it at like 0.05 or something. So not 0.5. And I even rebought back in at like 2.6. I bought another floor one because, as you said, like it's that's where like I really like the community and wanted to support the community, and a lot of my bags and stuff are community holds. They're they're projects that I really believe in and have conviction in. Although not sound investments and stuff like in hindsight, but like I see what they're doing within the space, and I still do my bit of research, and I know that they're actioning quite a lot of stuff. I probably meant more so the momentum trading on derivatives. We all know that's not a long-term play. So
what do you mean momentum trading on derivatives? Give me more information.
So say like I posted just in the Discord, I guess, like the amount of like mints and stuff on that like NFT whale alert of all these Solana derivative mints, like meme mints, essentially. Gotcha.
And are you sorry I'm not trying to make you into a zoo animal, but are you out there just buying these and trying to flip them, or like trying to momentum trade off these things?
It's not like everybody has I guess like their degen period. Mine was, I guess, like November, December. Anything I could get my hands on to mint, I would mint and then try and flip, like before having my own project. But I think everybody has to go through that learning curve in the space, and you'll get stuck with some bags. Like everybody knows, you'll get stuck with if you plan on doing the mint anything, and like this was in a bull market though, when everything was like kind of printing. But now if you're doing that in a bear market, you're even at higher risk because there's not additional liquidity coming in. And you're going to be somebody's exit liquidity. Yeah. Somebody might get in there before you, and you never know when this is going to turn. But you know that's like some degen play. You like that you're already going in like expecting to 50-50 trade. But for the projects that you plan on buying and holding long term is the ones that I think, like you'd be researching on the community and do like a larger conviction play and stuff. Like, myself, I bought a Cool Cat because I like the community.
Nice.
I like that it has a bit with,
When did you buy that?
The game. When the floor price was about 9 ETH, so so I'm down on that one as well. But like,
When was
I
that
enjoy
though?
the
Was that a few days ago?
no,
They're
that
like
was like
4 ETH now.
Yeah,
a
it's
week
at
or
Okay.
four.
something. I think they're in the threes or something. They dropped down to
3.9,
like
yeah.
yeah. And I think
Holy
they dropped down
God.
to like 3.2 or something.
I've held mine
But
all the way since
yeah.
0.8, I think.
Yeah, but I met both like Andrew Wang and Klon when I went to NFTLA.
Mm.
Was there for the mural as well. They're really cool guys to chat to, and then had like conviction on the community, and then decided to jump in. Like once I ended up getting back from NFTLA because I believe in like the long-term vision and stuff within the project. Um, and that's where I kind of like I'll put my money. Sometimes like in terms of if you're looking at a dollar value, wasn't the most ideal, but like you've got to be putting in skin in the game within the space if you really believe in the space.
Yeah, I think
Uni, are we live right now, by the way?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Not live, but recording.
Oh, that's so weird.
Is
I
it?
just got a DM from my buddy Burkewi, like, yo,
What did he
this would be
say?
your cool cat. He sent me a cool cat. And he's like, yo, this would be your cool cat. We never talked about cool cats ever with him.
Oh wow,
I was like, yo, is
That
Uni
was-
like, are you
that's-
streaming this?
I sent you that.
Oh. I thought it was Burkewi. Okay. Ignore me. Sorry. Okay, Don. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Changed my name to Brakawi.
I think with each new wave, like whilst it's great that we like wave of people that come into the space, like it's great that we get like such a large group of people coming in and like during those runs. But the problem is I think such a small percentage of those people are
Premium.
actually people coming in looking for, the community vibe. There's a lot of people who see the money side of things and they hop in, and because it's, whatever you buy is going to go up. Like that's just the sentiment of the market. A lot of those, a decent portion of those people start to think that they are some sort of expert in the game or the market. And because of that, they will then feel that their word or their opinion on what you should be doing as a project holds more value because of their prior success. And they're the ones that get mad at you because they're not here for, the community aspect. So when they see the price going down, they're the sorts of people that start to complain. So the more people that we can bring in that are actually looking for, this space for the right reasons is only for the better, because at the moment I feel like a high portion of people that come in are just looking for that, financial gain, which, is fine that there is elements to that, but it's not a high enough sort of ratio, if you will.
Yeah. I think
It's
yeah, you go ahead, Mark.
it's funny because like when we made Generation Habibi, I just this is gonna sound really harsh and probably 80% of the people that are listening right now are like, that's me you're talking about, man. But like I don't ever cater to flippers ever. I don't care about if you're a flipper. I don't hate you, but I genuinely don't think about you ever. And I probably never will when it comes to any Habibi related project, because I'm building something, and it sounds pretentious, but I'm just building something that's not for you.
Yeah.
And the way that we structured Habibi pricing for Generation Habibi was basically like, you can earn your spot, or you can earn your Habibi by being like a community member, which there's no outline for how to do that. You just kind of do it. And we give you your Generation Habibi, or you can pay a significant amount of money for your Generation Habibi and contribute to our fund or community pool. And so basically flippers come in, and people that don't really contribute that much come in because they see like a really low min price. They think, oh, it's 0.04. If it goes up to 0.08, double my money. So I structured it and priced it so that basically those people will probably not be attracted to this kind of project because it's probably they're outpriced. So basically I only have two groups of people that are buying and they're like, oh, I really value this project. This project means a lot to me and I'm willing to pay the premium price for it. Or people that don't have that money and want to earn their slot. So we basically have a bunch of richer people and a bunch of community people. Richer people are not really interested in selling. Community people are just thankful to be there and want to build. And so that's how I structured
How
Habibis,
how
is to
did you
just
have
basically
the,
say, screw you, flippers. Like, I don't care about you.
yeah, it's like a great incentive to do it. But how did you structure those people that earn the spots, if you don't mind me asking?
It's highly unstructured. And that's the way we kind of do a lot of things in the Habibi community is we kind of give the keys out to anybody that wants to participate, like anybody that wants to become a community leader, anybody that wants to become a moderator, not so much moderator, but community leader. We give those out freely. Anybody who does that can get a Generation Habibi avatar by serving by participating for a certain number of months. And then if somebody is in the community that doesn't have a Habibi, that has obviously been like a standout person and has just clearly contributed, we never miss an opportunity to do it. We put a Generation Habibi avatar right in their hands, which sometimes those can be worth up to 0.5, 0.6, even 0.7 Ethereum. We just put it right in their hands without no questions asked.
Fair play.
It's really important for our community, and our community leaders are always on the lookout, as well as our community manager, to never miss an opportunity to put a Habibi in somebody's hands that has clearly contributed. And from the beginning, we held 10% of our supply just for that.
But I can appreciate that.
We've never recovered since. I'm just kidding.
Is any one of you going to NFT NYC or to any other NFT events? Yeah, Shaka, you are going, right? I saw the tweet. And I guess you prepped some stuff to bring with you, right? Or
we're gonna throw an event, but it's still being figured out date-wise.
Okay.
But I've created a bunch of cool collateral and stuff like that. I'm just waiting for my event planner
okay.
to just be like, green light, we're good, I can start. But yeah, that's another thing, right? It's like you throw an event and then you look at the event and then there's like a Doodles event going on during yours and you're like, oh, there goes
There
all the shit that I invested, all gone. Or there goes like but luckily, like, and I've asked all my friends in the scene and like I've asked around even before I've talked about this publicly, and there's already like the people that I care about would come, so that's all that matters. Yeah, like it's like I've talked to a lot of people in like chats, discords, before that, and they're like, yeah, I'll come, I'm not gonna miss it. My brother might come to you. Like people that like, is there a risk that something huge is gonna happen during it? Yes, but you know, but yeah. Mark, I think you're going, right?
I am going. I'll be there. I'm very excited.
What do you expect from those kind of events to connect with the community? Or, I mean, it's good for making connections, right? And I don't know, connecting with other people who might be putting yourself into a win-win situation, so you can benefit from each other's contacts. I don't know. And yeah.
For when you put money into an event like this, unless you're a huge project,
Doodles,
that's something that you're easily okay with losing the money, because you're technically losing it. You're throwing a experience. You're not really flipping an experience, but
selling it.
Yeah, for me, my whole drive was something small, affordable, but something cool. That was the main three. The other thing was like, we've never had like an IRL event with hoppers. I feel like there's something I wanted to do, and I just feel like we've never had it. It's just a part of the community that I haven't tapped into, and I want to do one. I want to do one so badly for the longest time. Do I know that I'm not going to get that money back that I've spent on everything involved? Yeah, but yeah, I just want to meet people too. Like I've never met Mark before. I've never met anybody in our bubble, not even once. It's just gonna be an awesome place and vibe, I guess. I don't know. That's all I care about. It's just the community experience. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm there's a few dozen people that I want to say hey to and hang out with, and then there's a few dozen people that I don't know that I'm excited to meet some awesome random person. And that's kind of all I want to do at NFT NYC. I don't really care about anything else.
Cool.
That's same. I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
And how many people are you
Yeah.
bringing with you? Is it like the whole team, or like what kind of thing have you, or are you gonna organize? Is it like a hangout, or are you gonna speak, or how's it gonna work?
So the I don't even know if I could talk about the event place, but it's just like a small area. Yeah, like I think Joey, my social guy, is coming. My other friend Butters is not gonna be able to come, but yeah, it's just like a bunch of people, and then Mark, our friend group, and people in that group probably gonna come. I don't know, like a bunch of. If I just say, hey, we're hanging out at a Hoppers event, want to come here, have a couple drinks, and hang out as like friends, people would be more inclined to go. I mean, like I'm sure they'll freaking go to a Doodles event over mine if they really wanted to for those certain reasons, but. It's also not going to be an all-day thing. It's going to be a couple hours, so I don't think people are going to.
I think if Shaka, you, me, and the homies just said like, yo, we're going to this bar, and then I could see like easily that being 50 people.
Yeah, easily.
Just like within an hour, I'm sure we could rally, and I'm sure everyone is the same way. I wouldn't be like, yo, we're gonna go here, and then those people would tell somebody,
Easily.
and that's it. Who cares?
That's why I'm not
just hang out and talk about.
Yeah, I'm not worried at all. Like we've met like a ton of people in this space, and everyone wants to meet each other, especially me. Like I want to meet people so badly. Like I went to one event in Miami, Art Basel, met like 7 people that I know. Like that's it. But then NFT NYC last year, I missed that, and I saw these pictures. Everybody was hanging out. I was like, damn, I really missed a fun event with like everybody that I've known in the space. And now it's about to be like a year and a half now in NFTs, like, and I still haven't met anybody. So it'd be nice to see some like real faces. I don't know. That's my favorite.
We just came off a call like right before this to talk about New York. So this is like interesting, like having like the parallel conversation to it and all the same discussions and issues being brought up. We did a pretty low-key event in Miami before we minted that was like it seemed super expensive at the time, but like looking back, there was like nothing to just put on a little get together with cool cats and just to be part of that. But now it's like trying to say like how much money are we throwing into New York and, buying people's drinks and all these things is a huge question because like there's talk about utility, like people consider events to be utility or getting into an event as utility, but it's like a very like ambiguous thing. And we're basically just like, like you were talking about earlier, like, it's basically money you're just going to never see again going into the production. So how much of that the holders, earnings do we use towards that if it's just going to be used for free drinks versus an experience and or like how many of those people are holders versus just going from party to party, and how do you like I'm kind of in the like the pre-NFT phase where like I would just have my friends that like I'd hope would show up to my birthday party, so like I only expect like 5 people to show up to anything I put on. So like, how do I anticipate more than like 50 people coming to a thing that I'm part of? And what like is that like over expectations? Like so it's just like a weird place to be, and all these like weird questions we have to like now wrestle with, and like and especially in this weird time where like we're kind of in a new phase of the NFT space where like how many people are new to NFTs coming out to these events versus the people that show up to every NFT event. When times are good, everyone wants to bring their friends along, but when times are kind of like they're okay, like are they dragging their friends along if they're going to make fun of them for their NFTs the whole time? But it's like a lot of like interesting things we have to wrestle with, and we don't have unlimited funds for our project, but how do we best utilize those funds for a project versus for an event versus anticipating the next 6 months of production. It's hard, especially when I buy everyone drinks. I don't know if like that's always the best course of action sometimes.
What do you guys think the like, because we are in a bear market, I've never been to an event like this. Everybody was making jokes like everyone's going to be selling their 5-star hotel, they're refunding their 5-star hotel rooms and getting like a Super 8. But like Like, what do you think the morale is going to be like? Because in my head, I would picture everything's going to be the same. We're just adapting to a different time period, right? I think these events, I don't know. When I think events like this, I think of the promoting is a little weird because now you're promoting a project in a bad time, right? There's less of like that fairy dust on it where you're like, there's like
Here's what I think.
yeah,
I think
I don't
that
know.
there's a lot of people that were planning on going to NFT NYC are still going to be going to NFT NYC unless the price of Ethereum or their most held asset has gone so low that they're second guessing whether they can afford it. But
Yeah.
as long as they can still afford it and they can make that work, they're probably still going to go.
It's like a party, right? It's kind of irrelevant to the status of the monetary value. I feel like it's like if you can afford it, it's just like a party for a week, right? I don't know.
But here's something that I wanted to talk about. We were talking about utility, these events, and all that kind of stuff. Can we do a roundtable? Can everybody here speculate on how many people within the project that they founded or they participated in the most? How many people within the project actually care about the utility of the token? And when I say care, I mean will be actively utilizing that utility, not speculating on the utility.
Everyone got that?
What's the percentage of your projects that you think actually use utility, do not and they don't speculate on it, they actually do something with it? Don't all jump in.
Pretty low percent, man. I reckon probably like, yeah. It's the very small percent. It's probably like a 1 to 10%. 10% being the absolute tops, I think.
I would say 5 to 7% for Habibi.
Yeah.
Seeing about 5% too.
Yeah, I definitely under 10. You just type in Control F in your Discord chat. Find the one person that asked that question. See how many times they've been in your Discord once a month. Then you know your answer. It's like
it's just like so. Why do we speculate on something that it's like crazy that 95% of an entire market speculates on something that they genuinely don't use?
Yeah,
it's actually terrifying. People
they want
speculate on
utility,
something
but
that
they don't use it. Yeah.
Tons of people come into our Discord that hold sprites and they're like, so can someone tell me what holding this does? And I'm like, what happened to do your own research, man? Like what happened to that famous phrase?
Yeah,
I mean, we get a good amount of people probably use our portal, but yeah,
you tell them.
I think it's the same thing. You tell them it's like,
dude, I got peer pressured so hardcore to open my IP rights, and which was super hard for me because I'm like, this is my thing.
Peer pressured you? That's my question.
A lot of people. I had a bunch of people on Discord. I've been peer pressured to do things, and I can tell you right now, 100% of the time, it's never benefited at Hoppers. Like, I got peer pressured for IP rights. I open that up. I have like a little register form that I pay for. I look at it like probably once a week. There's nothing new in there. Like, no one's actually using Hoppers. I also like, it's just crazy. I think
you're too kind. You're too nice to your Hoppers, man.
Yeah.
Whenever they suggest something, you're like,
my biggest thing.
That's an interesting idea. You gotta crack down on those guys.
I don't always execute immediately, but it's like, dude, this is douchebag shotgun thing talking about, right? I never usually think like this, but it's like the people that love my project and came in and they understand me and they're awesome. Love you guys. Not talking about you guys and girls, but like, then there's people like, I got the IP thing a bunch. And I'm like, dude, you're buying my NFT project. You put no work into the production of making this character, into rendering this character. You did nothing of value added to what this character is.
Where is that even coming from?
But then I'm giving you IP rights to do to profit off this guy, which is, I get it. I mean, I'm okay with it now because no one's really done anything with it. But back then I was like really butthurt because I was like, dude, I can't believe I'm giving this IP
Those
away to
people those people that are pressuring you, they're not gonna do anything with that. They just want to
Yeah.
speculate on something that is being speculated upon.
Yeah.
It's
People
like
don't know what they
layers
want.
of speculation.
You want what you don't have. Like you don't. Yeah. You lose your girlfriend and then you miss her after she's gone. You want what you don't have.
Yeah,
That's
true.
literally what.
You know what,
NFTs are.
Shaka?
It's like-
Here's what I'll say is if you treat your community with, and I hope it doesn't sound like I'm talking down to you, but when you treat your community with respect, but you're also really firm with them, there are a lot of people who are watching. They're not saying anything because they're just shy guys, we'll say. And they're watching and you earn respect. I think they're watching and they will be happy to see you just being like, I don't want to do that because I don't like that. And this is my community.
I'm telling you right now, it never happens. And to a fault, whenever someone does say something like something along the line, maybe it's like a different, English isn't their first language, and sometimes it comes off, it can come off rough. I sometimes have like way too many supporters getting my back. I'm like, hey guys, hold it down. It's okay. It's okay. Like, I never really get like quote unquote fun anymore. And I'm Mark. I brought you up 1,000 fucking times, but your paper hand thing, shaking the paper hands, could never be more true now. Even at my supply of 7,500, like I've really thinned out those people that are just gonna flip because they're not even active in the Discord. They're gone. They're like the active people, the huge chunk of active people in the Discord are the best. Like they're not here to.
Yeah. It can take months and maybe even years to shake out paper hands for a project.
Yeah.
It's like the main mission for Habibis, and it's been that mission since we launched, is like, must destroy paper hands.
I'm okay
so
if people want to hoppers. I'm just saying, hypothetically, let's say hoppers at like 5 ETH, right? If you want to sell your hoppers, then go for it. But the people that are selling for like a $70 profit, you're paying for gas, you're probably making $65.
But that's it's a good thing though, because as long as it's moving from a paper hander to somebody who's more long-term oriented, then you win, Shaka.
I agree.
So
100%.
The IP thing has been really kind of like bashing my head against the wall sometimes, trying to explain to people how like IP actually works in the space where like everyone just asks that general like, do I get IP? It's like that's such a broad question, and like working in entertainment, you have to deal with lawyers, you have to deal with like studios, you have to deal with like all these like levels of like degrees of separation from the actual like project you're working on. Whereas here it's like someone expects to get like $100 NFT and get like full reign to like do whatever they want with it. I think that's like a lot to expect out of any sort of art. And so I've been trying to be really careful with just like, telling people like we spent 6 months on this just on the art side. And, we have goals for entertainment world of like shows and movies and things. And that's not going to be fair to everybody if like we have 100 different people coming at studios for like, I have my Lucky Ducky story and they have their Lucky Ducky story and then 5 other people have their, like it's going to just cause mass confusion. And I think we're seeing that with some like other projects that were more like free reign on the IP issue, that like now lawyers have to be like fielding all this and studios have to be fielding all these calls from a bunch of like owners of an NFT that like claim that they are the IP right owners of the project when it's just like not really in the cards, and they find out like, oh wait, you didn't actually create this, you just bought the NFT. And it gets really dicey when you get down to it. So we've been trying to be very clear that like, we do allow some rights to print and do some derivatives and stuff like that, but like, I just don't want to like create something as an artist for a big part of my life, and then just like the first time someone gives me $50 for it, I have to now like allow them to like make their own thing with it. That's like my kind of insecure artist perspective, but like I think that strengthens things long term just to have a real set idea of where the project wants to go. Otherwise, it can go into a million different facets, and that's fine for some projects. But I think that's really hard when you expect every project to follow that ruling.
But Jeremy, I think after hearing you say that, I think if any collector after hearing you say that says no, open up the IP rights, they're categorically stupid.
Yeah,
Because you just laid out a great plan to build a massive, incredible, entertainment focused this whole, who knows where you could go with the Ducks. You know what I mean? You could go anywhere. You could build a Netflix thing. And so if someone's asking, no, give me the IP rights, screw your future plans to build this into an incredible, recognizable global brand, you're an idiot.
Yeah, we see this like left and right. I mean, like, people have like valid concerns with the Cool Cats with their game and how long that took, but like anything valuable in this space took a lot of time to build. And I think like there's people just like they would make a quick demand for IP or a game to come out tomorrow. Like they just all they can think about is that hype anticipation. So they can either sell quicker or buy more or just whatever they need to do to just like get ahead of things, rather than wait for the thing to come out and be disappointed that doesn't meet their expectations or whatever. That's I guess like the larger question about utility and paper hands and all that. It's like those are the people that need to see those metrics so they can either pump their bags or buy more or like drop everything, when they either hear yes or hear no on those things.
Yeah.
What's happening to the top secret claymation project?
Oh man, I mean, if this wasn't recorded, I would be, talking more about it. But this is
Who said it's
not
recorded?
the.
This is being streamed, man.
Streamed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone wrote to you regarding Cool Kids, right? Who saw the live stream?
That's one of the things. It's like, we're working on a lot of things that take time, and I like to leave little breadcrumbs to things, but like I think that's way more fun than just like the first time someone asks me like what's the new alpha and just like drop everything and explain to them. But I'll just like leave little teasers and little things here and there that people can kind of like speculate or build their own conclusions. But like I think it's not fair for me to just like have to reveal everything that we're working on every moment of the day. Or like, some things just go nowhere. I mean, there's conversations we have that like, it'd be really unfair to the holders to like say like, oh yeah, we had a meeting with so-and-so. And then like immediately everyone's like, oh my God, that's crazy. And then it's like, that didn't lead to anything. So why even talk about it? But some people like need to like drop all that info like the first second the call, it's done, when it may not lead to anything.
I like what Deadfellows put out, right? They're just gonna put up blog posts of stuff they're doing.
No more roadmap.
That's the best.
That's cool.
Like half the stuff that I've done has just been like I meet someone randomly or someone mentions something in my Discord or I meet someone on Twitter, they have an idea or they have connections. I'm like, oh, let's do this. A week later, we start planning it. None of it has been planned. Like a lot of the stuff that, I don't know, I just feel like that model of like making a blog post saying, hey, we're actually working on this, posting it is just so much better than saying, hey, in Q4, we're going to attempt to get this executed. Like I have something that I want to do so badly. Everything's designed out, but now I have to wait for, rightfully, I have to wait for dev because everyone else is super busy doing other projects. I have to wait until there's time freed up to really execute the project. So can I even talk about it now? Do I have to wait? And do I have to say in quarter theory, I'm going to be able to execute this? You have no idea. I just like what DF did. Those are announced.
I think they're awesome. Everything they do is, I'm very proud holder. I think they've got their head on their shoulders. If the market appropriately valued what Deadfellows has been doing in this space and what they're about to accomplish, I think the price would be at probably, I would put it at 10 to 20 ETH.
Yeah, it's so irrational, right? Compared to other projects? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and eventually, the cool thing is like Betty and Cy and everybody at Deadfellows is like just so level-headed and so kind of smart and rational that they are never going to give up. They're never going to give up. They have extreme resolve to accomplish their goals. And so for that reason, I think Deadfellow's time will absolutely come. It's probably the best deal. It's probably the best to me. It's the best sure thing in this space that is like affordable-ish, depending on what your level of affordability is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only like with Deadfellas, they put us in number 2 in Oz for like largest NFT collection. Those guys are like absolutely killing it. We always have to like look at them and be like, fuck, we're gonna be number 2 for a long time. But nah, like they're very very humble and very modest and stuff of what they built as well, and they've definitely accomplished a lot in the space. And like Betty's a massive builder as well.
Mm.
Like the fact that she is a mother of 3 kids along with doing all this NFT stuff, when you get some complete degens that can't even like hold a project down, and they're just like, they've got like everything together. The fact that she's like got a full family alongside of that massive project as well, is huge. Yeah.
And you know
much
what else
respect to them as well.
Huge respect to them. And it's a really good lesson for me and hopefully for everybody else out there. But like, we've always been a relatively small community at Habibi's. We don't have crazy floor price, and Deadfellas has had crazy huge recognition and has had a floor that has skyrocketed. Despite all that, Betty and Sai and Deadfellows staff and their community manager have always gone back to me and always stayed in touch and been super pleasant, no matter whether they're in a high or a low or anything like that. You take the flip side of that, where we have communities that we've considered partnering with us and have outright told us, like, you're too small for us to care about you. You know what I mean? Sadly, those...
you get responses? They respond to you?
Usually, sadly, all the projects that have actually acted like that are valued quite literally at 0, because that attitude will only get you so far. But I appreciate their humility, and they value they value relationships. They really see you as like, they see everybody as people, and I appreciate that, like humans. It's good.
Yeah. Like, if we don't have other topics, we can have a different call again. If there's like something you want to say before wrapping things up, I guess this episode was kind of like we are all sad, we're in a bear market, it feels weird, or I don't know, but maybe you
everyone look at the camera and smile.
Yeah, please show me your best smile.
for the thumbnail.
My sprite can't smile.
Jeremy, you're already smiling.
My little Lucky Ducky is always smiling. So
what happened to Mark? He froze with his smile now.
I didn't freeze.
Oh no, sorry.
I was just super still.
Okay, wow, this was.
I was gonna say I was at the gym the other day, just pumping weights to 2000s emo music. I was like thinking, it's probably not a good thing looking at the market and listening to this. Send me into a spiral, dude. Nah, it was good times.
Yeah.
On a positive note, like, I can say about myself and about other projects as well. Like, usually these projects we're so invested in as founders anyway that it's gonna be okay. Like, at the end of the day, like, whether your project, like, how am I gonna say this? Like, my project never mooned like crazy, but I'm still pumping. Same like with a lot of other people. Like, it's okay. Like, who knows those. Everyone knows those projects that moon and pump, and then they have shit like Azuki happening, or something comes out about their founder being like a psychopath or something crazy. Like, anything can happen in the space, regardless of whether a project pumps or not, because that's kind of in the hands of the holders, right? So everything's going to be okay, regardless of what happens, whether Ethereum goes back up, whether it takes 6 months. We're all going to be hanging out here. Time moves fast, so just be positive and just hang out with your community in your Discord, and things are going to be okay.
I think so too, yeah. we are hoping to get those pounds.
Buying ETH.
Sorry, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I remember like buying ETH like a little while back at $200. So to see it at $2,000, I'm still up. So
Yeah, right.
you know, when times are down, you still got to remember like markets go through cycles. There's always like, you know, there's always going to be a pump and there's always going to be a retracement. Like it's just how it is. It can't like continue to just go up forever. And usually if it goes up for quite a long time, there's usually a bigger fall. So yeah, it's just
Yeah,
it's a normal part of the space.
I sometimes joke that like the NFT space can get rid of me, whether they want to or not. Just as like I've been here since like February, March last year, and now I'm stuck here. So it's gonna be a fun time, and as long as we get to keep making cool art, that's what I joined here for, and as long as people still want to have me doing that, I'm here for it.
I like
Awesome.
that. That's funny.
What do you have to say,
NFT
Don?
space can't get rid of me.
Say something.
Yeah, I guess that buzzword that we've all been sort of hovering around. It's just time to get your head down and use that word build and focus on what it is that you said you've wanted to deliver.
Yeah.
I can say it was a tough process. What we built in terms of like our minting process, like it was very different, very unique to what like the market had seen before. And like you were saying earlier, like as soon as you mint, people forget that appreciation almost instantly, and they're like, "What's next?" So now is a good time to be able to focus on delivering what's next. Although it's not great at being like quiet and stuff, it does allow, I think, us as founders and people actually like working in the space a little bit of breathing room to be able to take a step back and focus on what it is that you want to do and not worry about necessarily everything else going on.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, we kind of know that we are in a bear market. We didn't see that like today. We already know that for weeks, I guess. And now we are there trying to build and looking like, I don't know, look into the future and don't focus on tomorrow, but for the next few weeks and months and years and time to come up, I guess. Yeah. So anyone else that wanted to say something, like some ending words or?
Thank you for bringing me back on.
Of course, of course.
Especially with you guys, man. This is a good time.
And this is fun.
Yeah.
It's nice to talk about like legitimate, real things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nice to talk about pain.
It's nice. And like exactly. And like people want to kind of hear that from like real people too, so, which is good. Like we're not. Yeah. So at least my community likes to hear something real come out of the mouth. So
yeah, it's nice to be able to connect with so obviously we have our team, like all have our separate teams, but we're all in that sort of same boat together. So it's nice to be able to connect with other people sort of doing the same thing and be able to see if they're like experiencing what's going on as well. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for inviting me, Uni.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for joining, and I think there will be another one happening soon. So yeah, maybe we see each other again, invite some other people, and thank you guys so much. Yeah, have a good one, and talk to you soon.
Thank you, man.
Bye, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, see you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Yeah.
Woohoo!